some of us, it might not be prayer, it might not be fasting. It might be that you are so much focused on your. Hi guys, I hope you're all well. Join me as I talk to you today about relationships, especially uh, relationships that have went sour, and help us to find ways or means to overcome the challenges that were brought upon us by the cheating that we experienced in our relationships. And as we do that, kindly be open-minded, because I might utter things that maybe some of us might not be comfortable with, but they need to be said. And as we do that, may the good Lord bless you. Let's dive in. And I want us to talk about this because I believe it plays a negative hand in terms of our families. It affects our societies because it has to do with dividing and or separating people that hold families together. Today, we've got families where only a single parent is with abantwana, is with the kids, and one partner is off to somewhere, uyokala another family, they're off to start a family of their own, or even if they don't do it immediately, but eventually they go and start another family. And simply because there is something that caused them to leave their relationship or to leave their marriage, and because they could not deal with the pain, they could not deal with the heartache or the suffering that came upon them because of this one thing that happened in their past relationship or marriage. And namely, Londoleo, that I want us to talk about is the inability to look at ourselves and say, maybe we played a part in how our marriage ended. And this I want to talk about not looking at the offender. I want to talk about this looking at the offended. And my reason for that is that usually when we deal with these cases, we put all our energy and all our focus on the one who went outside, on the one who cheated. We never look at the one who was cheated on, because as a society, we assume they did nothing wrong, they did nothing bad. We take a position that says it's not their fault that the marriage ended. It is usually the fault of the one who cheated. It is usually the fault of the one who went outside the context of their marriage. And we blame them, we insult them, we belittle them, we scoff them, we talk bad about them, we gossip about them, we hear people saying men are trash or women are sluts. There's a lot of things that come up into people's minds just as an effort to name and shame those who went outside and cheated. But I've lived long enough and I've been a pastor long enough and I've dealt with married couples and even people who are in relationships. I've dealt with them long enough to know that it is not always the fault of the one who went outside that a marriage came to an end, that a relationship came to an end. And that's where I want us to focus on, because we, as a society, as a people, we don't look at what I'm going to talk about. Now, allow me to build my talk with you based on the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 7, from the 3rd verse till the 5th verse. And I am going to paraphrase it. Paul says, defraud not ye one another. In other words, don't deny each other. It says, deny not each other, defraud not each other. What is true to you? What is true to your partner? So now Paul is saying, as a married man, as a married woman, I'm in this marriage, and in this marriage, I'm here to give. I'm here to give. So he says, I must not defraud my partner. And he's talking about sex in that text. He's talking about sex. He's saying that married people should not deny each other sex. He then continues with Paul. He says, only on the consent of your partner. In other words, you still have to ask your partner, can I not be intimate with you for a particular period of a particular time or a particular day? And if your partner says no, in other words, Paul is saying you must continue engaging in sex. But if your partner says, no, it's okay, I can stay a week, I can stay a month, it's fine, then Paul says you can go ahead because you need to get your partner's consent first. Now, he then says, even when you've got that consent, don't stay too long without being intimate with your partner. Don't stay too long without sex. Don't stay too long without sexual intercourse. And he gives the reason why he says so. He says, because if you take too long, you would be opening the door for the devil. You would be opening the door for temptation to get into your marriage. Now, that text on its own, it tells me that the one who went outside is not the only one who is guilty, but even the one who did not go outside in a marriage without cheating, they're also guilty. And please allow me to continue my thought. So, this then pushes us to then say, what does Paul mean? And this is what he means. He means that as a society, we usually look at the one who went outside and say they are guilty and say that they cheated. But we never get to a point where we say, what is it that made this woman, that made this man to go outside the confines of their marriage and go and look for sex elsewhere and go and look for intimacy elsewhere? Paul is saying it is because someone was denied. Yes, in this text, Paul is talking about the married couple, the one gives the other consent. But he says, even with that consent, don't stay too long, because if you stay too long, your partner might be tempted. The devil will walk into your marriage. The temptations would then fill your partner's mind. Why? Because as human beings, we are beings of need. We want our needs met. You know, many times people say, I got married because of love. Nah, people don't get married only because of love. And there are a lot of people who got married and love was not even in the equation. Marriage, primarily, it is an institution of function. It plays a specific role in society and it fulfills certain responsibilities in society. We'll talk about that some other day. Now, But once you are in this marriage, you have the responsibility of fulfilling your partner because this is a marriage contract. Each contract has benefits. When you enter into a covenant, there is a benefit that you are going to get, and there's a benefit that you are going to give your partner. Now, that is why Paul says, don't deny each other, don't defraud each other. So, what Paul is saying, or what should be in our minds, is that if I deny my partner what is rightfully due to them, then I am wrong. And if it happens that my partner ended up cheating, I should not only just put the blame on them that they cheated, but I should also look at myself and say, did I deny my partner what is rightfully due to them? There is nothing wrong with a marriage that ended because your partner cheated. Not that you were not giving them sex, you were giving it to them, but their animalistic instinct overcame them and they went outside. There are people who are like that, they just love sex. Any opportunity for sex, they get it. They go to a party, they get a chance for sex, they have it. They go to a mall, they go to the toilet, the mall. You find them in parking lots, la paper mall, in parking lots, Emma parking. There are people who are like that. They're just animalistic. It's just this nature. It's just their natural instinct. And it's not that that instinct is peculiar to them. All of us have got that instinct. Sex is sex. Sex is good. No one would stand and say they don't want sex. Even the person who says they don't want sex, they're lying. They want it. They want it. So you are in this marriage. You are supposed to honor each other, enjoy each other, give each other the sex. But what you then do, number one, I'll use the example that Paul uses. You choose to focus on prayer because Paul said, don't defraud each other sex, except in a time where you want to go and pray and fast, except on the occasion of prayer and fasting. He says, yeah, but he says you must also get the consent of the partner. So you can't just say, Lavi, I want to fast, I want to pray, so I'll see you when I'm done. No, your partner must say, yeah, I'll do what I can to hold myself, not to have intimacy, not to have sex with you. But if your partner says no, then fasting, you have to find a way to fast again and still satisfy your partner sexually. But if your partner is loving and caring, they will understand. So Paul is saying that there are people who will get that mode where they want to pray, where they want to fast. He says when you do that, don't take too long. And for some of us, it might not be prayer, it might not be fasting. It might be that you are so much focused on your business. You are so much focused on bringing profits to your business, or maybe you've got deadlines at work and you are pressed behind time to make sure that you deliver at work. And of course, your employees, they want work done, they want it delivered on time. And now you want a good name, you want to get promoted, you want more responsibility and so forth. But many times those things that you want to do, they affect our relationships. So what then happens is that you focus on building your career, you focus on building your business, you focus on building your church as a pastor. I focus on building my church and make sure that with more numbers, my church is functional and so forth. My focus on that, put all my energy, put all my effort and everything to that. But if I'm doing that, unfortunately, find myself having denied my wife what is rightfully due to her. That is what Paul is talking about. So it's not just talking about love is exclusive. We've got serious things that demand our time. We've got serious things that we want to do. We've got goals, we've got visions, we've got ambitions that we want to see them come to fulfillment, come to fruition. But at times, those things, when we are now swallowed up by them, we get to a point where our partners are neglected. So, continue with the thought of Paul. When your partner is now neglected, Paul is saying the devil will come into a marriage, temptations will come into a marriage because you took too long. You ignored your wife, you ignored your husband for too long. The same applies with absent parents. When I'm talking about absent parents, I'm not talking about those who are not in the same house with their sons and daughters. They're there, they're present but absent. And you find that your child is as good as not having a parent because the father or the mother, both the father and the mother, they're focused on other things, and this child is not getting any attention. And when the child becomes wayward, then we want to come with the shambok and beat our kids up. Gandhi, we are the ones who ignored them. We are the ones who neglected them. When your child is not performing well at school, it might be that you are neglecting to give them help. You are neglecting to assist them when it comes to their education. The same thing is what Paul is talking about. Now, it's when your child fails, it's not only just their fault. The question is, where was the support? Now, in marriage, when your partner goes and cheats, the question is, did you give them what is true to them? When they expected intimacy, were you available or were you consumed with work? When they expected sex, did you give it to them? Did you engage in sex with your partner, or you were engaged in business, you were engaged with work, you were engaged with friends, you were engaged with making money, you were engaged with all other things except your wife, except your husband. And unfortunately, now that we have neglected our partners, when they go and cheat, it never comes to our minds that we neglected them. We want to blame them. We insult them. We tell them how loose they are. We tell them how slut they are. We tell them how animalistic they are. We tell them that they're beasts. All that they want is sex. All that they want is to fulfill their lust. Is that fair? I'm here to say it's not fair. Why? Because you have left the responsibility of being faithful to the marriage only to your partner, and you've absolved yourself from that responsibility. Now that your partner went outside because you neglected them, you don't want to admit. You hear someone say, "But I've always been there, I've always been giving you sex." And your partner would be saying, "But for the past 2 months, you've been neglecting me." Yeah, maybe once you did. But what happened to the 59 days? What happened for the past 4 weeks? And you will find that you are not even aware that you've missed so long not having sex, not having any form of intimacy with your partner. Now they went out and we blame them and we insult them. But why do we blame them? We blame them because we thought that they are angels. We believed that they are angels. If I don't have sex with my husband, if I don't have sex with my wife, they won't go outside. They are so faithful. And I believe when we do that, we are setting up our partners for failure. And those are things that we need to start considering. Now, let me continue with this thought. So, your partner has went out. You're upset about it. Your partner has went out. You don't want to admit that you're neglecting them. And some of us, we even give our partners a timetable. I know we can only have sex 2 times a week. Maybe if we are lucky, we can go for 3 days. Yeah, if you get a bonus for 4 days, we put time to sex. Sex is not sex is not something that just happens. There's just no flow. There's no, you can't even flirt with your husband, you can't even flirt with your wife, and yet you expect to keep things steamy and romantic. And that poses a challenge. Now, they went upset. There are things that you don't want to admit. You don't want to admit that you neglected them. You don't want to admit that you denied them sex. You don't want to admit that you pinned them down to a timetable that is actually even against their own liking. Because sex for us is not the same. There are those who want it every day. Some of us, we want it once a month. It's fine. I wonder why you want it only once a month. But there are those who want sex regularly. What happens if ever your partner is like that? They want sex regularly. It becomes a challenge. There is a burden that's there now in your partner. They are supposed to be faithful, but you are neglecting them. They're supposed to be faithful, but you are denying them. The best thing that you do is to speak in tongues. It is to pray in tongues. The best thing that you do it is to entertain your friends. It is to entertain your in-laws. It is to entertain your neighbors, but never your partner. Now this partner is now left with a challenge. Do I stay faithful? And some of them, we need to honor them. They did what we can to stay faithful. Some of them, they stayed loyal in sexual poverty. In sexual poverty. All this time they were in sexual poverty, and no one said to them, "Hey, man, it's been too long, let me give you some." But they stayed because they loved their partners. They stayed because they wanted to be faithful. They stayed because going outside the premise of their marriage is against their values. So what do? They stay. But now that they've stayed, when now you think all things are good, only to find that now there is someone who presents an opportunity for your husband, who presents an opportunity for your wife to express themselves sexually. And that's where the cheating starts. And once the cheating is there, because they're getting attention where they are, they also now get to a point where they don't care whether you have sex with them or not, because they're getting it outside. And you will hear the one who's been cheated on now saying, someone is not attending to me. It seems like they've gotten someone. Yes, they've gotten someone. Correct. They've gotten someone who attends to them. I wonder what is it that gives people the right to complain about something they're not willing to do anything about, to complain about something they're not willing to give to. In other words, I'm saying to you, if you are not willing to give your partner, if you're not willing to give your husband sex, if you're not willing to give your wife sex, don't complain when they go outside. And if you're not giving it to them anyway, you don't want it, you don't care about it. And even when you give it to them, your performance, is mediocre. There is no effort, there is no energy, there is no spice, there is no romance, there is no finesse in this sex. It's a problem. I'm saying to us, when our partners have now cheated on us, and I'm not saying that it's always that our partners cheat because we did not give them sex. There are many other reasons why people go outside. Yeah, we'll get to that part. But I just want to focus a bit on the sex part. You're not giving your partner sex, you're not having with them when they want it, you say they're demanding a lot. When they expect it, you say they must hold themselves. When they want it, you say you've got headache. When they want it, and by the way, headache, you can go and get some Panado, who's all right. But nonetheless, people who claim to be too tired I know I'm too tired. No, at work, we're too busy. I can't. Hey, I still have to cook. Hey, I still have to do that and that. Yeah. Go ahead and be busy. Go ahead and have your headache. But here's the challenge. As you are giving an excuse not to have sex and say your excuse is that you have a headache and say you are tired and say you are swamped with work, the question is what is happening to your husband? What is happening to your wife? At that time, they are feeling neglected. They are feeling ignored. And because they feel ignored, now this desire, now this need develops into something huge that can't be contained. What is it that happens? They end up going outside. Let me put it to you. There are plenty of women who would have never cheated on their partners, who never thought that one day they would cheat on their partners, but they ended up doing so. Why? They could not hold themselves any longer. They are good men, they are good women who cheated. And it doesn't make them bad men or bad women. It is simply that somehow they had to answer to this need. No one wants to go around at the mall being boni boni. No one wants to go around in the neighborhood being boni boni. They want to be fulfilled. And who has to fulfill them? It's the partners. But now, unfortunately, their partners are ignoring them. Their partners are neglecting them. They don't care whether the sex is happening or not. They don't even care how the sex happens. Now you discover your partner is cheating. You become the first one to complain. And as you complain, you update on your WhatsApp, you update on your Facebook. Anywhere where you can update, you update. You tell your colleagues, you tell your neighbors, you tell your friends, you tell your family members. And some of you even tell your kids, Papa to now which states, Mama to now which states. But what is Baba? Now, you are hurt at that moment. You are hurt. You are in pain. And you want to vent. Some of you even stop cooking for families because your partner cheated. Some of you even stop giving your wives money because your wife cheated. It's war now in this house. It's war now in this marriage. You're going to tell your family, he cheated, she cheated. You tell your friends the same. You tell the neighbor. You even call the leaders of the community to come and intervene because your partner did something evil. Your partner did something wrong. Your partner sinned. And unfortunately, this is what happens. When people come to help mediate, what happens is that they often take the side of the one who has been offended, the one who has been cheated on. And they come in and insult the offender, they come in and insult the one who went outside. They tell them how useless they are, they tell them how unfaithful they are, they tell them how disloyal they are, they tell them how much they don't honor their commitment to their marriage, their commitment to their partner. And we label them as devils. But I believe it's now time, it's now high time we ask the offended this question. Yes, your partner cheated on you. Did you give them sex? Yes, your partner cheated on you. How is your intimacy? Yes, your partner cheated on you. How is your performance? Yes, your partner cheated on you. Are you still excited about sex? Does it excite you to have sex with your wife? Does it excite you to have sex with your husband? Because the one who went outside, of course, it's obvious they went outside. Yes, we're not condoning it. They did something wrong. Yeah. Their sin is obvious, their wrong is obvious, all of us know it. But the sin of the one who has been offended, we don't know it. And I'm not talking on behalf of those who just want to go out and explode in their animalistic tendencies, who just want to go and have sex anywhere and with anyone. I'm talking today for those who did all they can to hold themselves and not go outside. I'm talking on behalf of those who say, we did all we can, but found ourselves going out. Because there are people, as I said, who stayed for 4 years in sexual poverty. Others, it's more. If we can have some spiritual camera and be able to look into people's marriages, there are people who are dying in poverty, sexual poverty. That's a shame. That's a shame. Why did you get married? Because if sex was not part of marriage, then you could have stayed at your parents' home, or you could have stayed at your house and not get married. But sex is part of marriage. So there are people who are denying their partners sex and expect them to be faithful. I'm saying you can't expect your partner to be faithful when you are denying them sex. And I'm saying this because faithfulness is not just your partner's responsibility, it is your responsibility. You must be faithful to have sex with your husband, faithful to have sex with your wife. But here's what I want to talk about when it comes to faithfulness. It is my responsibility to be faithful to my wife and not cheat. It's my responsibility. And it is also her responsibility not to cheat. It is her responsibility to make sure that she's faithful to me. But there is also another responsibility that I have and my wife has. I have the responsibility to help her be faithful. She also has the responsibility to help me be faithful. What do I mean? If I want my wife not to cheat and sex be the reason, I need to make sure that my wife is satisfied sexually. I need to honor our sex life. I need to respect our sex life. I need to make sure that there is joy in the sex, there's happiness in the sex, there's fulfillment in the sex. Because when I do that, I am helping her to become or to stay faithful to me. I am empowering her. Each time I have sex with my wife, I am empowering her not to cheat. Each time she has sex with me, she is empowering me not to cheat. Yeah, I know it sounds odd. I know it sounds odd, but that's just how it is. So I have to be faithful on my own, but my wife has the responsibility to support me in my faithfulness. Now, my wife can't deny me sex and still expect me to be faithful when it comes to sex and not have sex with other women. That's an unfair expectation. You don't want me to have sex with any other person, have sex with me. Because this is what we're supposed to have in this context. Yeah, to Yom Shah, in the context of this marriage. Now, if it's denied, if it's neglected, what are you saying to me? Are you saying I should hold myself till I die? Hell no, I'm not going to do that. Because somehow God created us to be people of need. I need sex. I want sex. And that is a basic need and a basic one for everyone. All of us, we want it. All of us, we want it. So I must help my wife to be faithful. As as she becomes faithful on her own. As I become faithful on my own, my wife must also support. I know it doesn't make sense to many, but that's just how it is. If you don't want me to cheat, then close the gap. You can't open the gap and still expect me to to be faithful. It doesn't. I don't care how much you pray about it. I don't know. I don't care how much you fast about it. If you deny your partner sex, if you deny your wife sex, if you deny your husband sex, eventually they will go outside. Yes, because at this moment they have not yet went outside. It does not mean that eventually they won't. They will. They are human. These people are not angels. Angels have got no need for sex, but human beings have got need for sex. And we have sex for various reasons. We have sex in marriage because we love each other. We have sex in marriage because it's the bonding session. We have sex in marriage because my wife got promoted. Then we congratulate you. We have sex because I got a tender. My wife comes in and congratulates me, and we have sex. We have sex because it's our son's birthday. It's our son's birthday. It's our daughter's birthday. We have sex for various reasons. Anything that we can make up, anything that comes to our mind, we have sex for it. Yeah, payday, we have sex. When there's no money, we have sex. When whatever, whether there's an achievement or we are in pain or we are in suffering, we have sex. There is no special reason for sex. We just have sex. We make up anything just to have this sex. You hear people say, Mara, why sex every time? No, we must have sex. We must have sex in the morning. Then God and say, God, thank you. We are still alive. And you touch your wife, you touch your husband, and we have sex. After reading the Bible, we have sex. After praying, we have sex. Before you go into the like Pope Silas you have sex with your wife. You come back. You have sex. And we need to get used to it. In other words, sex has to be normal in the context of a marriage. If sex is not normal in the context of a marriage, people are going to go outside. And that is going to lead to divorce. And I know what I'm saying to the one who has been offended, it does not make sense. When what I'm saying to you does not make sense. I'm not saying that your partner was right by going outside. Because commitment is commitment, is commitment. You can't change it. Yes, they went outside. So what? Yes, they went outside. So what? And when you got married, you said till death do us part. You did not say till Jemima does us part. You did not say till Tom does us part. By the way, divorce, culturally, it's not there. Divorce are equal single. Biblically, divorce is not there as well. Yes, people do divorce and life moves on, God forgives. But culturally and biblically, and that's one of those things over which the Bible and culture meet and speak one thing. When the day you got married, when you got married to your partner, you did not say till Peter does us part. You said till death does us part. Till death do us apart. Not till spawning. So today, your husband had sex with Svoni, that you are now leaving your husband. Today, your wife had sex with Tom. Now you are leaving your wife. No, you said till death do us part. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. So I'm saying to us, before we can put an end to our marriage, we need to ask ourselves, isn't it possible that we played a part? Isn't it that we played a part in putting an end to our marriage? Isn't it possible that we played a part in our husband going outside, in our wives going outside the context of our marriage. Yeah, it's all good to say your husband is a cheater, your wife is a cheater, but were you giving it to them? Were you giving it to them? Were you giving good sex to them? Was your performance good now? So many sibe nama-KPAs, nama-KPIs ze-sex emshadweni. Yeah. Key performance indicators ze-sex ziyafuneka. Key performance areas ze-sex ziyafuneka in the relationship. Ziyafuneka. Because abanye bethu sihlezi imidomo nje kuphela singayazi ukuthi kwenzakalani. You are having sex utalale nje kuphela ngathi giraffe efile. Mouth uzama ukuspice up your sex life uzindoda ithi uthatha manje lo. Uthatha manje. Uzalani manje. No, sex life must be spiced up. If you don't spice it up, people go out. I know don't get any sure, and how I'm talking it does not sound good for a pastor, but no, we as pastors we need to talk about this. Imishado iyaphela because people don't give each other sex. Abantu abanyobani abaqinile. Kamele ukote msari wakho, ukote mna hao, umukotisise. Umntobo udle umfazi wakho, uyidle indoda yakho, uyidle. If you don't, khona bazoyidla. Uma kwamudla umfazi wakho, basudla abanye ngaphandle, bathi akadliwa. Mawukayidla indoda yakho, khona bazoyidla ngaphandle, zakudliwa. You must chow them, you must feed them, you must chow them. But now usuthe. Usuthe bumnandi be-sex yakho nomuntu wakho. Otherwise, your partner is gonna come outside. Another thing, you must stop saying, Mina, I'm not into sex. Oh, ushateleni, I'm not into sex. I how every day, how kaningi. You must go in the sabbatical. Sabbatical, let's go. All I'm saying is that let it be that when our partners go outside, it's not because we did not play our part. So I'm challenging the ones who were offended by their partners cheating. I'm saying to you, ask yourself this question. Did I satisfy my husband? Did I satisfy my wife? Did I give sex to my husband, to my wife? If not, maybe you need to change your mind about sex and start saying, I need to be open to sex. I need to be welcoming to sexual advancement from my husband, from my wife. I need to pay more attention to it. And by the way, this is not only just about sex, because people don't only go outside because they were denied sex. There are people who are having sex every day, every hour if they can, but they went outside their marriages. You know why? Because they are belittled in their marriages. If you belittle your wife, somebody is going to make her feel special. Just because you belittle your wife. And for the past 5 years, your wife has been feeling small. Your husband can go outside because he feels that he's not attended to. Don't be fooled. We as men, we love attention as well. We love attention. If your man can go outside, not because you don't give him sex. Yeah, you give him sex. But he feels unattended. He feels not honored. He feels not loved. The same applies with women. The woman can go outside and say, my husband, ngiyalala lapha zokunyoba khona kamnandi lapha zokupha khona kahle bese ngiyabuya for lo mdoko lo la endlini, ngizobuya for le mpuphu le la endlini, because like impuphu fell, there's nothing good that's happening. It's sex that causes an obligation. We are married, I need sex needs to move beyond that. Yeah. Hey, God help me. God help me as I talk about this. Help me. Yeah. God help all of us. I'm saying to us, let us not be the cause why our wives and our husbands go outside. In other words, in my marriage, I should do things in such a way that when there is a challenge, I'm innocent, I'm totally free from blame. If my wife went outside for sex, let it not be because I did not give her sex. Let it not be because I did not play my part. Let it not be because I did not spice up our sex life. Let it be because, yeah, nah, she's just a wild animal. She just wants to go and have sex with anyone, anywhere. I'm sure that a lot of people who have divorced with their wives, who have divorced with their husbands, they blamed their partners who cheated, but they never stopped to ask themselves this question: am I the reason why my husband, why my wife went outside? And I know we are always taught not to look at ourselves for blame. We hear people say, no, you are not to blame. He's just an animal. No, you are not to blame. She's just loose. We've always warned you about this woman, about this man, and you never listen to us. It's high time we leave them. And those people, their husbands cheated on them, their wives cheated on them, but that's their marriages. But with you, they're saying you must leave them. Ella, don't listen to people who are quick to say, leave your wife, leave your husband. Hey. Those people are not honest. They are not honest. Because it's not like their marriages don't have some form of mess. They have. But they are fighting to do whatever to make sure that there's happiness in their marriages. That they don't allow themselves to be consumed by challenges. They overcome challenges. There are women who will tell you, and I love those women and I love those men who will tell you that Thomas also keep about. I will me the also. Yeah, they cheated, then what? Life moves on. And you are not the only one to be cheated on after all. And possibly they are still going to cheat on you. So cheating cannot be the reason enough for you to leave your marriage. Why? Because at times it might just be that we are in Shana. You are very stingy with sex. And yet you stand on Sunday and encourage umnikelo laphaya and teach abazalwane, encourage abazalwane to give. And you say to them, the Bible says, blessed is the hand that gives than the one that receives. But when you're not giving you're not giving in your marriage. Maybe that is why you've got so much problems. You are denying your husband sex, you are denying your wife sex. What? Man. And yet you expect God to bless your marriage. Let me tell you something. When people get married, we as pastors, we declare blessing upon them. When families come, we declare blessing on the couple that just got married. So there's no marriage that's not blessed. All marriages are blessed. It's just that people fail to understand one thing, that you work out your marriage. Ntate Thuso says, lenyalo libima, lenyalo libima. Uyawusebenza vele, uyawusebenza umshado. You work it out. Emshadweni akusuka gogo wakho, kuyasetshenzwa. You work out umshado wakho. Bunzima, bumnandi, bubuhlungu. You work out your marriage. There's no perfect marriage. There's no perfect marriage. But all I'm saying is that let's play our part and make sure that if my partner goes out, it's not because we neglected them, it's not because we ignored them, but they just went out because they're just animals who never get satisfied. And lastly, as I conclude as well, let's not set up our partners for failure. When you deny your wife, when you deny your husband sex, you are setting them up for failure. What do you expect? They are human just like you. Yeah, mhlawumbe wena you survive because you are not into sex, as you say. But if they are into sex, how are they supposed to survive? And as I said, this does not only apply to sex, it applies to everything. If you don't give your wife money, someone is going to give her money outside life. She might say no, she might not receive it for the first time, second time. But if she sees that this offer is always there, and once she takes it, then a relationship forms because she feels that she's attended. She is being blessed, she's being given, she is being blessed. What does she do? Attachment forms. And once that attachment is formed, sex seals that attachment. That's how she did about it. Simply because you denied the wife money. That is why you are able to find a man living a mansion, living in a big house, living in cars. Ahambe ayikupini because lapha ekupini there is a young girl or there is a woman who respects him, who makes him feel that he's, and because he feels special, attachment ibe khona, and that attachment be sealed by sex. Ngeke usabenza next. That is why people are able to cheat with the same person for 5 years. Ungazi next. When by the time you discover 5 years has already passed. Why? They keep on going back themselves. When this thing started, it was just a temptation. It was just a temptation. But now, they're now at home. They're now at peace. They've welcomed. You find yourself in a polygamous relationship unaware. Because when who wife number one, who wife number one. But Mobi and Nishan, Baba Sekai has totally a pseudo wife. Khona le mshado wamanje lo bawubiza ipholi wathi khona ipholi ekhona siba just forgot the name. Ulibele uthi hayi mina ngeke sishere umfazi. Uzoba ubaba sekhaya osendlini ungazi ukuthi lo mfazi wakho lo umshera nendoda yase-Cape Town, umshera nendoda yase-White City. Sithembu phethe umfazi. And lo mfazi lo ngeke azakushiye because uyakuthanda, you are the love of a life, uyakuthanda, and she's committed to you. It's just that she also loves the sex. Umfazi wakho mangabe committed to you and love the sex, le sex le ayithandayo ayithole la. Indoda yakho makube indoda yakho uba mara isex ayithole khona la. Awuzosithomelela ukuthi indoda yami ngiyiwanekise ngaphandle so yangihlangishana. I'm saying to us, let's find a way. Let's find a way to solve these problems that abound in our marriages, that might lead our partners to go outside. At times, we are the ones who cause our partners to go outside because we are denying them certain things. We are denying them sex, money, attention, care, love, respect, honor. We are denying them all of those things. And yet we expect them to stay faithful to us. Yeah, they want to stay faithful. But the longer they are denied, they will eventually go outside. So to the one who has been cheated on, I'm giving you a challenge. Go and evaluate your relationship and ask yourself, am I the reason why my man went outside? Am I the reason why my woman went outside? If yes, change your ways. Change your ways. If yes, your husband must ask for your forgiveness for cheating against you. But you must go to your husband and say, "Have please forgive me for denying me sex." You must go to your wife and say, "Nyapolisa, that I went outside." And your wife must say, "Nyapolisa, that I denied you." And vice versa. Hey, Lamfaz, go to your man and say, "Hey, but I understand why you went outside. We said too much to a point that you could not handle it anymore. Forgive me for that." Nendoda yakho ithi ngiyaxolisa nkosikazi wami for going outside. And you work on your sex life, you work on respecting each other, you work on your commitment, you work on honoring each other, on caring for each other, you work on giving each other attention, and avoid unnecessary divorces. At times, these divorces are unnecessary, very much unnecessary. Just because you don't want to do certain things within the context of your rightful marriage for that matter. I call. And let's stop burdening God with prayer that are incorrect. Honestly, people, it's not fair to God that we go to God and say, "God, help me, my wife is cheating." When now who is supposed to give your wife sex, you are denying her. It's an unfair prayer to God. I call. Think about it. Do something about it. It's all up to you. My prayer for you is that you'd find healing in your marriage and you'd be able to solve whatever challenges that are there in your marriage, and be at a point where you are resolute on the fact that there is no one who will take you out of the marriage. Man, but because of spoken, because of bita. Yeah. May the good Lord bless you. Because if you divorce, what's going to happen? What's going to happen to your family? Sihlala sikhala ngokuthi abantwana badinga both parents. That's what we say. We say kids need both parents. But Tina, because of umshana wethu, what is that happens? Abantwana bethu, they miss out on the blessing of having both parents in their lives. Because their marriage ended up not in divorce. And because it ended up in divorce, many times abantu that divorce is not peaceful. You end up fighting abantwana, which is the wrong way. And we find ultimately one parent loses touch nabantwana bakhe because no is upset. This one cheated on me. Then he or she will never see abantwana anymore. It's wrong. It's wrong. Abantwana bakho abasamazi ubababo. Abantwana bakho abasamazi umamabo because bowumshana, wangishana, uyangishana, too much. Go fix. Asibonge uNkulunkulu omusa nothando anenze kahle enganishani niphana. Amen. Hi guys, I hope you're all well. Join me as I talk to you today about relationships, especially relationships that have went sour, and help us to find ways or means to overcome the challenges that were brought upon us by the cheating that